there was a young man who was searching for a master, and he found this very, very wise master. And he went to visit him, and he sat with him, and the master had many wise people come and talk about things, and about philosophy and the stars and all types of things. And the young fellow became quite disillusioned with him. And he decided to confront him, and he said, why is it? He said, you just seem to agree with everyone. You know, there's people come and they say, oh, I believe the stars are this and that, and you just sit there and you nod and you go, yes, yes, yes. And somebody will say something entirely different, that they believe the earth is flat, and you sit there and you go, yes, yes, yes. He said, I've come to the conclusion, you don't believe in anything, do you? And he sat there and just and I'm reminded of what's going on in Palestine. It's all beliefs, isn't it? It's all beliefs.
There was a great rabbi. You could even call him a saint or a mystic, because he was privy to all the dimensions of existence. He was even purported to perform miracles, which of course is what we believe saints and mystics do. But one day, when the rabbi was in the synagogue, intoning the prayers, an angel came down and stood beside him and whispered in his ear, there is a man whose prayers rise up to the highest heavens and are heard. And the angel proceeded to give the rabbi the name and the location of this man. So as soon as the prayers were finished and the service at the synagogue was completed, the rabbi immediately went out, hitched up his wagon, and set out to find this man. Well, he went to the village where it was said that this man resided, and he went to the house of learning and asked for him, but nobody knew him there. And so he went to the synagogue and he asked there. And they said, oh no, we don't have anyone of that name here. There's only an old farmer who's got a small citrus grove in a valley on the other side of that hill there, outside the village. So the rabbi hastened to find this place. And when he got there was just a simple hut. But he knocked on the door, and when the old farmer answered and saw this being clad in the robes of the rabbi, of course, he was invited in and given hospitality immediately. But the rabbi went straight to business. Tell me, what is your secret? What is the secret of your prayer? The old man said, but I have no secret. I'm just an illiterate man. I don't know how to read and write. All I know is the alphabet from A to Z. Well, the rabbi said, well, what happened when you went to the festival at the synagogue last? The old man said, well, I sat amongst those who were there and I could see them praying fervently, and I felt so ashamed, so ashamed. I wept, and I began to intone the ABC, and then I said to God, God, I'm a literate man. I know nothing. I only know these letters. But please, take them. Make them into the prayers as sweet as orange blossom. Because this is the sweetest thing I know. Immediately, the rabbi knew the secret. What is that secret? What is that secret for us?
Just like he offers all that he has.
All that he knows and doesn't know. Isn't this what we do? Isn't this what we do? This is the secret. And we hold it too in our hearts, isn't it? That ground of unknowing, where the rose always blooms, it's been spoken of before. What is it that makes that rose? It's in the story too. It's very simple. Remembering that question you asked.
to keep the mind out of the equation so that you know
Mhm. Remember this story. What did the old farmer say? I only know the ABC from A to Z. Take these letters and make them into the prayers that are sweet as orange juice. What does that mean for us? What is this ABC?
3 levels of mind.
Eh?
Which no?
I didn't hear the first.
The 3 levels of mind.
Yes, of course. They're not going away. Is that all? That's all we've got, isn't it? Isn't that all there is? Isn't that the ABC? And how does that equate to the ground of unknowing? ABC, the ground of unknowing. How do they equate?
They are one.
Of course, there's no difference. Mind is mind is mind is mind is the ABC. It's also the ground of unknowing, isn't it? You got it. Right?
So much as contradiction, isn't it?
It's so contradictory and paradoxical, and yet here it is. We have the secret, isn't it?
We can also say that the secret is that there is no secret,
Of course.
and yet the togetherness with the people brings it about.
Exactly. Just like this paradoxical saying. It doesn't make sense if you analyze it. A ground of unknowing. Where the rose always blows. How is it possible for a rose to grow out of unknowing? And yet, here we have a secret. And it makes perfect sense. There's nothing paradoxical about it. Just as there's no longer anything paradoxical or conflicting about time and timelessness, or stillness and movement for us. Isn't it so?
So you don't have to separate the mind out.
We don't have to separate the
Just-
mind out. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? In a strange sort of way.
That's better for something.
Well, what I noticed with the farmer was that he was bringing all that he'd accumulated in his knowledge and what he knew in his life and offered it over, so that it wasn't for him to do with what he knew, it was to bring it into the spirit and offer it. And I just noticed that when you asked the question about what that was, that there was the most beautiful, sweetest little bird just outside the window, and that seemed to be the answer. That sweet song that already is, and then the awareness of that sweet song and bringing it into whatever's happening. Yeah, it's not making a lot of sense in the logical mind, but it just felt like, yeah, that's it.
That's it.